My name is Isabella, and I am your Rebel Seamstress, your helpful guide in fulfilling all of your sewing, pattern making, and draping dreams. Today we are learning one of the most important fundamentals in garment construction, Grainline. Grainline is the invisible architecture of fabric, the key to make garments that fit beautifully, drape elegantly, and hold their shape instead of collapsing over time. So let's break it down. What is Grainline? Grainline refers to the direction of threads that make up woven fabrics. Many common fabrics made from fibers like cotton, silk, and wool are all woven by interlacing two sets of threads, the warp and the weft. These cross each other at right angles. The warp threads are stretched vertically on the loom and held under tension. The weft threads travel horizontally between the warp threads, creating structure and sometimes patterns. This is what that structure looks like in real life on a factory loom, where thousands of warp threads are held under tension and the weft thread passes through to build the fabric yard by yard. These are some visual examples of a straight grain plain weave, the simplest woven structure. There are many other weave types that alter the fabric's texture, strength, drape, and appearance, and we'll explore those in future videos. But what's most important right now is understanding that all woven fabric is built on the same foundational grid of the warp and weft threads. Now that you understand this structure, let's look at a defining feature of woven fabric, the selvage. You may notice when buying woven fabric that the edges of the roll look slightly different from the rest of the cloth. These finished borders running along the length of the fabric are called selvages. The selvage is created by weaving the warp threads at the edges with increased tension. Its purpose is to reinforce the fabric's boundary, stabilize the weave, and protect it from fraying. The selvage isn't decorative, it acts as a structural anchor. And locating it is the most visible and reliable way to identify grainline. You might often notice small holes along the selvage. These come from the fabric being held in place on the loom during weaving and finishing. Let's make a fabric sample for grainline so you can explore this hands-on. On this channel, I guide students in creating their own sewing sample book, and you are so welcome to join us. I recommend using muslin since it's easy to mark and study. However, you are welcome to use any woven fabric that you can draw on. To fit neatly on the page, cut or rip a piece 7 by 7 inches, and include the selvage edge so you can label and analyze it. Make sure to iron it flat too. The selvage always runs in the direction of the warp threads, which means it shows you the lengthwise grain, also called the length grain. Perpendicular to the warp are the weft threads, which define the cross grain. And there is one more important grain direction, the bias grain, which runs diagonally across the fabric. Every pattern piece you cut interacts with one of these directions. Now that we can identify grain line, let's explore how fabric actually behaves when we move across it. When you feel the fabric along the length grain, you'll notice it feels firm and stable, with very little stretch. This is because the warp threads are designed to hold tension. As you rotate on the fabric toward a diagonal, you'll begin to feel more give. This natural stretch happens because you are now moving between the warp and weft threads instead of pulling along them. Any diagonal is considered bias, but at the true bias, the exact 45-degree angle, the fabric reaches its maximum stretch. Unlike length and cross grain, the bias isn't a thread direction, it's the diagonal space between them. As you continue rotating toward the cross grain, the stretch decreases again. The cross grain has a slight natural give, which can be helpful because garments typically stretch across the body. While the grain line remains stable, the fabric's performance changes depending on how you use it. A garment's piece can be aligned on the straight grain, the cross grain, or bias, and each creates a different effect. When we lay fabric on the length grain, you'll see that it hangs smoothly over the bust and falls straight toward the floor. Cutting a piece on the length grain creates a clean, stable, and structured effect. This is the most common grain direction for garments, used for button-up shirts, blazers, trousers, and pencil skirts, for example. Because of this, the cross grain naturally runs across the body, providing a slight flexibility that supports comfortable movement and fit. Now let's look at the fabric laid on the cross grain. You'll notice it curves slightly more over the body because it has a subtle natural give. It is uncommon to cut entire garments on the cross grain because the length grain, which is more rigid, would then be wrapped around the body horizontally, and this can feel restrictive and may compromise the garment's drape. Designers sometimes use the cross grain intentionally for controlled rigidity, visual emphasis, or experimental drape, especially in panels, yokes, and decorative elements. Now let's lay the fabric on the bias grain. This is where things get magical. Bias cut garments behave very differently from straight grain garments. You can see how the fabric naturally wants to fall closer to the body. This is why bias cut garments flow, cling, skim curves, and move fluidly even when made from woven fabrics with no stretch. Bias cuts create garments that feel soft, fluid, liquid, sensual, and even alive on the body. And in the hands of master designers, bias becomes sculpture. To summarize how woven fabric behaves, length grain is stable and structured. Cross grain is slightly flexible. Bias grain is fluid, drapey, and stretch responsive. Woven fabric structure always stays the same, but the behavior and appearance can change depending on how it's oriented. Now that you understand how grain line affects fit and how different garments use different grain directions, let's pretend we're cutting real pattern pieces. Here I've cut a few little examples of pattern pieces that can be placed on our sample. If you'd like to do this with me, look in the description box and there is a link to a printable PDF. When you buy or draft a sewing pattern, the lengthwise grain is always marked by a long line with arrows at both ends. This line tells you how the piece must align with the fabric's warp threads. Pieces like the A-line dress front, pencil skirt front, and pant leg front are straightforward. They align cleanly with the length grain. Things get a little more interesting with the flared skirt and its waistband. The flared skirt panel is placed diagonally to intentionally use the bias, allowing it to flare, flow, and move with softness. And even though the waistband is sewn across the body, of course, it is cut along the length grain to minimize stretch and preserve the garment structure over time. So far, we've only been looking at fabric with the visible selvage, the easiest and most reliable way to identify grain line. But in real sewing projects, you won't always have that luxury. When working with vintage fabric, thrifted textiles, or upcycled materials, or scraps, the selvage is often missing. When that happens, you can still identify the grain line. You just need to rely on touch, sight, and structure. Here's your no selvage survival checklist. First, use the feeling test from earlier in the video. The length grain is the most taut, most stable, and least stretchy direction. Once you've identified the likely warp direction, examine the fabric closely. Warp threads often appear straighter, more tightly packed, and more consistent. If needed, grab a magnifying glass. It can help you see individual threads more clearly. Next, examine the cut edge. Along the direction you believe is a length grain, gently fray out a few threads. As the loose threads naturally form a straight path, they reveal the true grain direction. Depending on how tightly woven the fabric is, this may be easier or more challenging. This final method works best on loosely woven cottons or muslin. If you're willing to sacrifice a small portion of fabric, you can make a snip about 3/4 of an inch from the edge and tear along the grain. The tear will naturally follow the warp or weft threads. However, tearing slightly distorts the fabric, meaning both the torn strip and the torn edge become unsuitable for precise cutting. So this method is best reserved for practice fabric rather than fine or expensive materials. You've just completed a foundational lesson in Grainline, one of the most powerful tools in garment construction. Now you understand how woven fabric is built, how grain shapes fit and drape, and how to find the grain line even when the selvage disappears. And here are your grain line notes for your sample book, so this knowledge stays with you as you design, sew, and create. Thank you so much for learning with your Rebel Seamstress and taking another step forward into mastering your craft. Please click that like button and please leave a comment to let me know if this helped you or if you were left with any more questions so I can make even better tutorials in the future. And don't forget to subscribe for more fashion videos to come.